Hi everyone, this is the Rockoon launch systems, an affordable CubeSat launch for everyone. Now the problem. First, let's meet Sid. He works on a satellite project on campus and he says, our project launch deadline has been delayed 3 times now. Ride sharing with NASA for launches is incredibly inefficient, time consuming, and gets consistently delayed. Now the bottom line is, space is very expensive and inaccessible to many. Now, as an aerospace engineering student myself, I believe that space is the new frontier for humanity to continue exploring, continue innovating. And while that is becoming more and more accessible as time goes on, it is still, for the most part, very inaccessible to a great majority of people. And I want to make my own mission to make it more accessible and to take the steps to make it the new frontier for humanity. Our solution is we lower launch costs by using a hot air balloon instead of the traditional ground launch, by using a rocket like NASA or SpaceX, or the occasional mid-air launch that airplanes take it up in the atmosphere. We use a hot air balloon. We expect to have costs as low as about $2,000 to $2,500 per kilogram. And hot air balloons cut the need for atmospheric drag and fuel. Now, how it works, as I explained, the hot air balloon will take it up to the maximum distance it can. This specially designed balloon can take it as high as about 80,000 feet in the atmosphere, which is close to the exosphere. Once the balloon pops, it triggers the specially designed small propulsion system that we designed for the satellite that launches to the orbit that we want it to reach. This is, once again, proven technology that has been tested by the military and other private companies. Now, as I explained, it will be launched up into very close to the exosphere. Once the balloon pops, a multi-directional control for the launch system will activate and launching the satellite to the intended orbit. We intend for this to be recoverable in the future, but at the moment we are focusing on disposable because the cost right now is simply too high to work on a recovery method. Now, the opportunity is huge. The primary market is academic institutions. 60% of CubeSat services are from academic institutions. Arizona State University is one of those institutions. There are several active CubeSat projects going on campus right now. The secondary market, of course, is also the private customers and labs and private research companies. For the competitive analysis in our marketplace, the projected global launch market in 2027 is projected to cost about will be worth $32 billion. The small satellite launch services is worth about $25 billion. Now, everyone wants to target this entire service. Our company specifically targets, at the moment, CubeSats, which is a subset of small satellites. Now, in the future, as our company goes on, we definitely intend to expand to provide more small sat services, but at the moment, we want to target CubeSat first to perfect our design. For the competitive analysis, like I mentioned earlier, there's traditional ground launches like NASA and SpaceX, and mid-air launches like Virgin Orbit, which is now Virgin Galactic because Orbit is defunct, and Northrop Grumman. Now, the advantage is that Rockoon Launch Systems is way more affordable because we cut down on fuel costs and drag costs. We have much lower wait times because there's not as much bureaucracy. We don't have to do a ride-sharing service. And we don't have as many heavily limited launch sites compared to mid-air launches and ground launches because there are far more FAA certified areas where you can launch a hot air balloon than a rocket. We are the best option for CubeSats. Like I mentioned earlier, we want the cost, cut down the cost per kilogram to as low as $2,000. And as we further innovate our design, it can go even lower than that. SpaceX Falcon 9 currently costs about $2,700 per kilogram, and the mid-air launch Virgin Orbit, which again is now defunct, costs at about $20,000 per kilogram. Now, the customer experience is pretty simple. They apply for a launch, they explain the mission to us, we agree to it. Within 1 to 3 months, we accept the proposal, and we meet with the team to discuss plans for the launch and start designing the orbit that they want and the propulsion system for their satellite. Within 3 to 5 months, we test the instruments that are relevant to this launch, and within 5 to 6 months, we launch for the customer. Our revenue model is also pretty simple. Again, most of our revenue comes from customers providing satellite launches and high altitude testing, which again is a form of one of the satellite's purposes. High altitude instrument testing is also another prominent form. And ad revenue is also potential in this market. My name is Daniel. I am the co-founder and chief engineer of Rockoon Launch Systems. I'm a senior at Arizona State University. I'm an aerospace engineering student, and I graduated in May 2024. Uday Mohanty is my co-founder, and he is a grad student here at ASU, and he's also graduating with his MS in aerospace engineering. We are asking for $500,000 in investments. About 26% is going to team costs. That includes engineers, lawyers, researchers, infrastructure costs like facility rentals, having grounds to test stuff, and more than half of it will go to development costs, which obviously is instruments, designs, and specific testing instruments. We are also open to collaborations and joint project developments with other companies in the industry. Thank you for your time.